Hey, everybody, in this episode of Box Office Breakdown, we're going to be breaking down all our reactions to the Justice League. Some of us liked it. No, I'm just kidding. None of us really liked it. We'll talk about it all that and more next.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Box Office Breakdown.
Yes.
That's right. Keeping it real right here at Box Office Breakdown. Welcome, everybody. This is the show where we look back at the box office that was, and then we... That's right. Prognosticate about the box office that lie ahead. I'm one of your hosts, Frank Moran. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, why don't you? At HappyGoJackie.
And my name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's Karidlane.
And I'm Amy Cassandra, and you guys can find me on all social media at Amy Cassandra TV.
It's your boy, Neil Plumley. You can find me at places where people are found at The Neil Plumley. That's TheNeilPlumley. It's good to see you, everyone.
Yay!
Really?
Yay!
Yeah.
What, you see them all right through that camera?
No, I mean you guys. And everyone in the chat, obviously.
Yeah. We're going to have the chat on, guys, soon, so you can chat with us live. But if it's not live, Frank, what do they do?
They comment up above.
No.
Oh, yeah.
On the side.
Almost.
It's close.
The other side.
Oh, this side. They comment on this side.
No.
You need to go south.
You got one more.
Gotta go south. Down here?
Yeah,
Down
good job.
below.
I did it. Folks, as always, you can like us on Facebook. Give us those 5 stars on iTunes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You know what? There's a thumbs up there. And you don't have to just put one thumb. You can do multiple thumbs. Go crazy. Go crazy with those thumbs.
Chat rooms.
That's right. Yes. Oh,
That's what the kids say, right?
And as Kari mentioned, the chat is up and running, so hop in there, share your
Yay.
thoughts about anything, movies that we're talking about, or just some general movie thoughts you have on your own. But we're going to break down their top 5, kicking it off at number 1. No surprise, although it did underperform, for sure, was Justice League. Came in at $96 million.
But didn't we all guess, like, much lower than that?
No,
So-
I guessed over.
We were in 120s.
Yes.
Oh, wait, I said low.
I was sitting at, I think you said 90, maybe? I said like 140 because I was just
You shot for the moon.
shot for the moon. I'm a moon shooter.
That's true. Now, I know I saw it. I know Neil saw it. I know Amy saw it. Kari, did you see it?
Nope.
Or do you
Good
want
for
I
to see
haven't
it?
seen Batman versus Superman yet. So.
Oh, you'd be so lost.
You can miss it. You can super miss it.
You don't need it.
Well, one thing yesterday, I was working on a short film, so I was working in movies, in front of and behind the camera, and then I had a dance rehearsal most of today, and I was watching Punisher most of the weekend, so I didn't really go to the movies.
Well, I mean, I will damn this with faint praise, is that it's better than Batman versus Superman.
Okay.
By a league.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. But that's not really saying a
Doesn't
lot.
say much? Okay.
No.
But let's just jump right into this. Neil, I know you've got some thoughts.
I do.
Lay it on us.
Listen. To me, this movie was more enjoyable than Thor Ragnarok.
Enjoyable?
Enjoyable.
Really?
Is Amy, I'm not
Seriously?
looking, but is Amy
Than
dissolving?
Yeah, she's about to swear there.
Really?
Wow.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. The expectations for Thor were so high, and I was let down. And the expectations for Justice League were so low, and I was sort of let up. Because I went in thinking that it was going to be just as bad, if not worse, than Batman vs. Superman, because there's even more cogs moving around in the movie. And when I came out of it, I was like, that honestly wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And structurally, it was okay. I still have a lot of problems with the movie, but I'll say that a strength of the movie, even though it was under unfortunate circumstances, was Zack Sneider not being involved with post-production. Because I can see where Joss Whedon steered the movie into a more cohesive story. Like Kari hasn't seen it, but the second act of the movie, which was already like a little bit, it wasn't super strong to begin with. It was already a little loose, but it was a lot stronger because of the non-spoiler event that happens in there, and you sort of get a feel for like what these heroes can do with each other against something that is much more powerful than them. A little like prequel to what's going to happen later. Now, I will say I was super let down by Batman, who didn't do anything in the whole movie. He didn't do a single thing. And they try to play it off like, oh, he's getting old. Oh, he has bruises. He's like, oh, man, he's taking his suit off and you see bruises. And it's like, we supposed to feel bad for him because he was kicking ass like 6 months ago in Batman vs. Superman. The scene where he saves Martha and takes all those dudes. with like the elegant and grace that only Batman can provide.
True.
What happened to that?
But although, I mean, and not that I feel like I'm defending this movie now, which I don't want to be, but he is fighting against parademons, which are a step up from just regular human beings. So he's a little bit out of his league. But I don't like that they really didn't embrace the aspect that even though he may not be as strong as all these people, he can outthink them. And I didn't see a lot of the Batman really
Yeah, that's the thing. He had 2 moves. He was planned like a move, maybe a move and a half ahead of what he was already doing. And I'm like, that's a normal fighter. That's not Batman. Batman's like, I'm going to punch this thing, take its gun, and shoot like a support beam to weaken it for a second because these guys are going to go over here because I'm going to lure them over there. And then we're going to go over, I'm going to fight these dudes, hit the support beam, it's going to fall down and kill him, then I'm going to swing away and hit this dude over there. And he's doing that while he's punching that first guy. And this one was just like punch, roll, where's my next opponent? And I'm like, Batman, come on. That was really, really weak.
Chat room saying, and I've seen online too, is the interaction between superheroes was good, but the bad guy was lame.
The bad
Everyone's
guy,
like,
The bad guy was lame, but another sort of prop to this movie is that you were super sure on who the villain was. And this isn't like I'm not saying like this movie's better than other superhero movies because of this. It's better than DC movies because of this. It kept telling you who the villain was. And I'm like, that's good. That's good in this scenario because this is a weird villain that no one knows.
But it's so paper thin, though.
In the Avengers, I'll compare this to the Avengers. In the Avengers, you didn't need to do that because you already knew who Loki was. So it was just like, Loki's the bad guy, we get it. But, and I know it's paper thin, but in this sort of scenario, they had to keep reinstating who the villain is. And I like how they just said his name. Like, each character sort of had a turn throughout the series of the movie, which is long, to say his name like at least once. Like, oh, Steppenwolf did this. Oh, Steppenwolf did that. Oh, this is where Steppenwolf did that.
So excited.
It is like I mean, basically, it's been mandated by executives to be 2 hours, but it does feel like it's a longer watch.
God,
it does. Yeah, it wasn't the longest movie I saw this weekend, but it was long.
So, Amy, I know Amy kept on texting us the whole weekend saying how much she loved this movie.
Yeah,
and she couldn't wait to talk on Sunday night about everything she loved about
Holding
this.
up banners on Hollywood Boulevard.
So dive into it. Tell us what you loved.
I've never been more offended in my life, guys. Like, what? No. Okay.
Lay it on.
I hated it. I hated it. It was awful. It was a waste of my time. Thank goodness for the Movie Pass, not sponsored, because if I had to have paid money to watch that, I would have been really upset. Now, there were way too many booty shots of Wonder Woman.
Everyone. Cyborg had the biggest booty shot in the movie. When they're coming off the claw thing in the sewer.
It's everyone.
Yeah, but his was like the most direct one.
Hers was there, and that was not the only one. It's just like bam, bam. It was enough for me to be like, what the heck? Can we stop with that? There's no need for that. Also, the women in this movie were so lost without their men. I'm not going to say in detail, but it was like, are you kidding me? Like, no. Next, I understand.
I don't think you're with Wonder Woman though. I don't think she was lost.
She was lost because of Steve Trevor. She's like, oh, like, no,
she's not lost. She was just reluctant to kind of embrace the rest of humanity.
She didn't even embrace anything because Batman made it seem like it was his idea, or like it was her, like she had a bigger say in what, you know, like certain things that were going on. And then, no, not really. It was his idea, but he kind of made it feel like, yeah, you know, it's your responsibility, when it wasn't. Like, there wasn't that much interaction. They weren't really working together because they were kind of lost without this one main part of the thing.
Right.
And it felt so stupid. And I didn't feel attached to any of them. I was like, they could die, I'd be fine. I agree with you with Batman. I agree that Aquaman had, like, nothing. Like, I loved Jason Momoa, but there was nothing. Like, he could have just been sitting, like, he could have been any random person. But Aquaman wasn't, no. Also, The Flash was crap.
I agree. I didn't really care for Ezra Miller all that much.
He's so stupid. Like, still, that's not funny.
He had some of the best like heartstring scenes because of his father.
Sorry, I was reading the chat. I will get back to that. Sorry.
Are you going to get back to that comment? I would like to hear your opinion on that.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, it is just the same as Aquaman having his shirt off. Sometimes it's unnecessary. It's like he can just jump in the water. Who freaking cares? He's Aquaman. He can have the shirt on, off, whatever. But do we really need every single booty shot of anyone? Of Cyborg? We don't need that. We don't. And it doesn't need to be like, hey, booty, 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 shirt. Look, it's his chest. Like, let's get to it. Let's focus on the freaking plot. That's for everyone. I hated it.
Actually,
And-
those shots were there to distract you from the fact that there was
It's a
no
crap.
plot.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is that I understand that there's issues with a lot of movies. Yeah. Okay, with Avengers, there's issues with other Marvel movies, DC, whatever. But these issues were so big that I was just like, what the entire time? And I wanted to give it a shot. I was like, okay, no expectations going in, except like, we're gonna see some cool people do cool things. Was I let down? Heck yeah. Yeah, I was let down.
Well, my issue is that it's set up, if you looked at, I mean, the foundation that this universe is being built on is kind of a crumbly one, where Batman versus Superman and Man of Steel are just kind of very much dour affairs.
Right.
And at the end, I mean, Superman was never really celebrated for the most part in either film. I mean, you had Batman actively trying to destroy him. And I mean, everybody kind of turning against him. And so when he dies, they just basically kind of feel like they try to flip and go like, guys, he's so beloved, and the world's not the same without him. Like, nobody really liked him that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I felt like that was.
But
I'm excited to go see this because chat room, you all are having very valid points of reacting to everyone's reactions, which is, it's a movie, it's subjective how you feel about it. I love how much you all hate it. The chat room's like, whoa, hold on, guys.
I'm glad that people feel passionate enough about it, which is cool. But I also have to say that I saved everything that I wanted to save for this moment right
I'm
here.
glad you did.
So it's
Thank
been
you.
pent
So
up for a
fun.
while,
Feels good.
and I'm
That's
sure
great.
I have more things to say, but
Janet
There's not
Mouse
enough
says
time.
Batman was definitely pretty lame. All right,
Yeah.
somebody
oh my
agreed.
god.
it was honestly
Joey Karate says Justice League sucked. All right, and then some people
Joey, I
like
agree
it,
with
you know?
a quick thing about what you said about Aquaman, because I agree.
It was so
They
weird.
they tried really hard to give Aquaman a little bit, and
A little.
and that worked. I thought that was good, but there just wasn't enough. And I think it comes down to the runtime and the fact that this is a ensemble movie where you don't know most of the characters.
True.
With the Avengers, it was the opposite. They each had their own movie, and then
Yeah.
they came together. And like the only people that didn't were
Well, The Flash has a TV show.
Hawkeye.
Aquaman's like the only one, and Cyborg.
But the thing is that the
We've
Flash
seen-
is not Ezra Miller.
I know, but we still
So-
know the character.
Well, I know, but it's
right.
like
And but they were banking on that, but that
Yeah.
sort of applies to this universe, sort of doesn't.
Yeah.
And especially with in regards to Aquaman, because they had to do
yeah.
if you notice when watching the movie, they tried to be delicate with it, but they tried a lot to let you know as much as they could, I think, to let you know who Aquaman was, in a way. But it sort of fell flat because they didn't have enough time to explain it. But I think that the scene that I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. The scene
Yeah.
that they had with him showing off a little bit more of his world, I think that is going to be a decent, and it got me sort of excited for his solo movie because that's a decent launching point for him.
The only thing that bothers me about that is that anytime they do talk underwater, they create like an air bubble so they can talk, and I was like, that's disappointing. I'd rather see them, like if you watch comic books or you see cartoons, they just talk and they're underwater and it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I was willing to go with that. I don't know why we had to create air bubbles all the time. Like, it's kind of disappointing.
Totally not connected, but I'm like, wait, in Little Mermaid, do they have air bubbles? I don't know.
No.
They just chat away.
talk.
They
That's
just
how it
phone it
works,
through the
guys.
water.
They're yeah. All right. I mean, certainly
right.
if you've seen any of the marketing, you know about a character that's coming back for this. But my only thing is there's a scene at the end of the film where we see a character finally putting on his costume, and he shows up, and there's a bunch of chest hair hanging out over the top of that costume, and I'm just like,
oh my god,
man.
yeah.
Like, why you must have looked at yourself in the mirror and just like, I look good at this. No, I got this chest hair. I mean, it is just popping out. No, I was like, you've got some. You could have taken care of that. You could have taken care of that.
I'm excited
Right.
for other people to talk about it so we can talk about it freely.
All right.
I'm excited.
Now they
Well,
have
the other
said
thing is, it just came out this weekend, so there are some people who haven't seen it yet
Yeah.
out there. You know, I'm with you guys, but
No,
it's been fun to hear you
I
guys.
definitely-
Now I like want to see it, come back and be like, guys, it was so cool.
Veronica there in the chat says that it agrees with Neil that she thought Justice League was more entertaining than Thor Ragnarok.
I agree, and I do not. I was all over Twitter with this. I do not agree with the 32% rating it has on Rotten Tomatoes.
I agree. I would have given it
That
lower,
is
but I
way too low for what it is.
no.
Carl
Way
Brunswick
too
in the
low.
chat. A man with chest hair is a man, dude.
Those 60s would have been cool.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
I said if they
No,
averaged
those-
Thor Ragnaroks with Justice League, that'd be a perfect score for the both of them, like 66 66 or 65.
I think.
No.
I mean, we all talk about it, and we're not critics of films. And I'd say most of the time when there's like critics reviews, those aren't like your average viewer.
True.
That's
Yeah.
like films chosen for awards. The people who enjoy those films are not the ones picking them or voting on them.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's so arbitrary of like, well, this one's award winning, and you're like average citizen's gonna be like, I hated that movie, I didn't like it, or I never saw it,
Yeah.
never heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
So
We'll see.
nah.
And sorry, I cut you off.
But then wait, but wasn't the fans rating a little higher? That's more what I like to see is how much did fans
course
like
it
this kind
was.
of
I believe
yeah.
so.
Then see,
I'm sure
go with
it
that.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fans. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like the people in that I went late Friday night. Like there were only a few seats available. People were laughing, so they enjoyed it. So people out there are enjoying it. I definitely encourage you guys to go watch it and form your own opinion because we all have very different opinions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
But
it's
as long as you
nice.
agree with mine, that's all that matters.
Well,
That's all that matters.
All right, moving on to other films that are here in our top 5. We got number 2 is Wonder, a nice bit of counter programming by Lionsgate. It ended up making a little over $27 million. So succeeded. They were comparing that much to Twilight, I think the first
What?
one, with The Age
why?
of 17. In terms of counter programming, coming out with a big film and coming out with a smaller one.
Oh, okay. I was
very
like,
similar to this, coming out with a big,
Okay, that makes
more
more
of a bigger
sense, yeah.
blockbuster with a kind of a nice counter programming. That did not succeed as well as Wonder did, probably because it was a rated R film. But this one was a nice PG film. It's tested very well,
Family.
and yeah, it's been getting a good word of mouth.
I want to go see it for sure. I was supposed to go see it today, but things got crazy.
The Life of
Didn't
Amy
get to it.
Cassandra, everybody.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, right.
Coming to number 3, Neil's favorite film of the year, Thor Ragnarok,
Oh, God.
$21.7 million.
That's a big drop.
Yeah, it was 61.8%
Isn't
drop.
it in
Yeah.
its third week?
It is.
So it's doing really well.
All
No,
right.
but
I like Amy's just like, enough, Neil.
Normally, a third week is traditionally, or not traditionally, because what is tradition in this market? But
That's beautiful,
it's
actually.
usually around like 50. But this was like a 61, and I definitely didn't see it coming in third.
Well, the thing is
You
that
thought it'd be coming
people,
in.
I thought it'd be coming in 2.
Really?
Yeah.
well, people wanted something different. Like they wanted to see Justice League because some people they'll watch Marvel and DC too, of course. So I think just because Justice League came out on its third week, I think that's why it offset it. But I think it's doing really well.
Coming in number 4, a film that Neil is going to share some thoughts with us in a moment here. Daddy's Home 2.
Oh my God.
Yeah! Daddy's Home 2 made 14.8 this week. Some of that was Neil's money.
Some of it.
Hey,
Some of it.
Yes.
That
I'm
was the
excited.
longest movie I've ever seen in my life.
wait, how long?
You guys
was
are
it?
having a rough movie watching week.
On 3 separate occasions in the theater, I asked myself, how long have I been sitting here watching this movie?
Oh my God.
It did because I know when I saw it and we talked about it, like just like the uncomfortable, just like the humor with Will Ferrell just constantly just screwing up, and then it got so tiresome. Did you feel that same way?
I felt like
Or what,
they.
yeah, why did you hate it? So
I felt like they tried to pump up situations that they didn't have the script back end to fulfill. Like they would, like for instance, there's a fight at the nativity scene, and they pump it up. It's almost like you're walking around
Yeah.
around Venice or Santa Monica or like the Third Street Promenade, Santa Monica, and you run across the street performers who are like, "Hey, everyone, come in, we're gonna do backflips over each other," and then they keep you there for like an hour.
Yes.
Honest to God, it's an hour to keep you there for, and they do some cool things, but mostly it's just a lot of pump up and a lot of hype. And that was like most of the situations in the movie. They would be like, oh man, Dusty, you're acting super strange. Oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I love this guy. Yeah, we love each other, don't you know? And then they would just turn into like this fake argument that wouldn't get resolved, and that would just sort of fizzle, and then they would just move on to the next scene.
Did you like your boy Mel Gibson in it?
No. No, he kept doing that like
That one note where he
that
kind of
little
like
hit and hit someone. He sounded real wheezy, and that distracted me. That old man wheezy sound.
Ugh.
It sounded forced too, and I was just like, and he's supposed to be like an astronaut. And they played into that joke like twice.
I thought it was just one of those like you tell your kid you're an astronaut because that's why you've abandoned them. You've just gone off to do something else.
Yeah.
But I guess he really is.
He really is.
But they didn't really.
Like
they
he
really
was
does that.
in the movie he's actually an astronaut. And John Lithgow plays to it a couple times. He's like, well, let's go, Captain. And I'm like, that's a good way to play it. But then like that's the only time they did it. They did it like twice. And I
People
was like,
listening, I'm totally raising my eyebrows like, what?
yeah.
They're like, okay.
All right,
He's
coming
been
in
to space like 2 times.
Yeah,
Just-
just
Okay.
coming in number 5, Murder on the Orient Express from Fox. Another $13.8 million for that, and of
I
course,
saw that one. I did see a movie.
Me too.
That's right. Wait, I did.
Now,
I saw Murder on the Orient Express.
and did you like it?
I did. However, I really liked the beginning. It was fun, and there's actually a lot of humor in it. Visually gorgeous movie.
Oh my God.
All the characters are really cool and interesting, and I didn't know the story at all. But someone in the chat last week started to say something. I'm like, now I was thinking about it. I'm like, knew who was gonna die, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. But my problem was I was really engaged, and then when they start breaking down like who done it, it slowed down so much that I was like, what? And I was like, why am I not interested? I'm like, this is the part where we reveal it, but I just felt the pacing disappeared at that point. So at the end, I kind of had to be like, leaning over, like, so what? Why? Tell me again how they're all connected. I'm gonna have to watch it later or watch another version. But I mean, it's still really entertaining. I think it might be fine. I was probably tired, but overall, I thought it was really cool and the characters were interesting. But pacing, I don't know how they would have made it more engaging because it's like here's the reveal, but somehow it was slower.
All right. Did you like his mustache though? That's the important
Yes,
thing.
that was fun. And I liked his buddy that's barely in it, but he meets at the train depot.
Yeah.
He was so cool. I'm like, can we get more of him?
It was good.
But yeah. Anyway.
That
fun.
dynamic was really good. It's like, it's I never ask him about what he does, and he doesn't care that I'm just like this terrible, terrible person.
Someone's like, no, I didn't give it. No, but somebody else said somebody's name who does die, and then I'm like waiting for that person to, or it's in the back of my head, which, oh man, people were ruling things with spoilers.
All right, so of course the movie that was the subject of this last week's box office bet, The Star,
Yay!
did not do that great. Did not make it into our top 5. Came in at $10 million.
That's very surprising.
Neil, what were the bets last week?
The bets starting from low to high. Low was me, $6.5 million, and the subject of your box office loser. The winner is Frank Moran with a dead-on $10 million, followed closely by Kari at 12.
Whoo!
All right. I'm okay. I'm glad I'm like definitely pretty close. Not like
Yeah.
Felt good about that. Well, I can't wait for you to go see Star.
It's going to be great.
Sure.
I'm going to have
I
fun.
don't think it's
probably
gonna be
seeing
that
it.
bad.
The cast is good.
it looks
Yeah.
cute.
Oh,
like it's
there you
gonna
go.
be
Just keep
a
telling
cute.
yourself that as you're watching it.
No, the cast is
It
good.
is. It's a good cast.
This is a great cast, guys. This is a great cast.
The third longest movie I've seen this year.
All right, of course, coming in, that was the subject of last week's box office bet. We've got next week's box office bet to do. And what film do we do? Well, that's going to be up to you folks in the chat. We've basically got 1.5 films to choose from here. One is Coco. That's opening wider from Pixar Films, 3,800 screens. But we also have expanding. We've got the new Denzel Washington film, Roman J. Israel Esquire, from Sony Columbia. That's going to be on 1,500 screens. So already been out, but it's expanding. So feel free to start chumming away in your box office bet.
I don't know how they saw an advanced screen, but I know someone who did see an advanced screening of Coco, and they were like, for all of you people worried about it being too similar for Book of Life, they're like, the only similarity is like Day of the Dead and going to that place, and they're like, that's it. Like, don't worry about it. And they thought it was beautiful and really good movie. So I'm like, okay, cool, because I was
so
curious.
excited.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's what I heard too.
wasn't worried, but I was like, those seem very similar. How are you going to be different? And then,
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah.
It looks like Coco's winning.
I can't wait for this movie, guys. This is like the movie I didn't know I wanted.
Yeah.
Now you've got it
Like
now.
they released it, and I'm like, I was like, I cried like when I saw the first trailer, and I was just like, because it hits home, like me being as a Mexican American. It's like, it's like it's a movie for us, and it's great. Like, I just can't wait to see like what kind of parts of our culture they put in the movie, so I can like laugh, and it's like, that actually happens, you know. Like, it's great. I love it. I can't wait. Sorry.
Have you been to California Adventure, anybody yet? if you guys get a chance and you're Southern California and you can afford to go because it's a very expensive place, but California Adventure has a really great Coco exhibit. Essentially, they have performers that come out, and then they also have these like different stations, and one of them is essentially like props, but like real world. And then another one, they have like a tree of life, and you can write a note to your loved one. And I like, you're crying. It was. And then they had some other like stations, so it's really neat. It's just, if you guys get a chance, I'd highly recommend checking that out.
I did hear a lot of people cried watching it. So.
Internationally, in Mexico, it has made just about $50 million alone, right there. So that's before it even opens worldwide. So yeah, look at that. It's already kicking butt. So that'll be the subject, and by looking at the way the chat room's going, it seems like Coco's going to be our winner. It's getting a lot of Coco love so far in the chat.
Coco.
But before we do our look ahead, we like to do a little box office rewind. I figured we'd just do one not necessarily on an actor, but on a studio. So why don't we look back at Pixar's top 5, since they're responsible for Coco. Coming in number 5 for Pixar, The Incredibles, back in 2004.
Did you guys see the teaser trailer for number 2?
No. Cannot
stop.
wait.
No,
it doesn't really give you anything.
No,
I
okay.
just saw it today.
I want to see it, but I don't want to see it. I want to see it.
Made me so excited.
It made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, it's good.
So, very excited. $70.4 million when that released. Really enjoyed it. Can't wait. I can't get enough Craig T. Nelson. Let's see more Craig T. Nelson, guys. Number 4, Monsters University, 2013, 82.4.
That was actually pretty fun.
Okay. Do you guys remember that part?
No.
Okay.
No. But I thought it was a cute movie.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I was also kind of confused, like watching it. It's like, I guess there's some morals where it's like, if you try hard, you can be anything you want to be. And
That's
this is like,
beautiful.
you can try hard, and you're not going to be able to what you want to be. You just have to like accept the fact that you can't be.
Both of those are true in life?
Yeah, but it's like, it's true.
No.
It's, I don't know if it's necessarily
Both of them can be.
I almost wish that they would have done a movie for like after, like what happens after, because we had
In between?
Monsters, Inc.
What happens after Monsters Inc. Number 4.
Yeah, what happens after
now that
Monsters
it's shut
Inc.
down?
Yeah.
Number 3, Inside Out, 2015, $90.4 million.
Stop. Stop. So good.
Number 2, Toy Story 3, 2010, $110.3 million.
Yeah.
Who doesn't start losing it as they're making the way to the companion?
Oh my God,
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Bawled my eyes out.
But was it better than
No.
Was it better than How to Train Your Dragon? I think no.
No.
Get out
I'm
of
gonna.
here.
I
Actually
didn't
haven't
love
seen
it. I like How to Train Your Dragon.
That's really good.
That should have won Best Animated that year, and it went to Toy Story 3 because of nostalgia and really good directing.
There is one scene where he first connects
babies.
with Toothless that is just so well done.
Yeah.
The music, the animation, it's just really nicely done in that sequence. Have you ever seen the YouTube video where a kid plays Toy Story 3 for his mom, but edits it so that it ends at that scene as they're going in there and says, like, that's the end of the movie?
That's me.
That's great.
horrible.
Because she's like, oh, wow, that's just a really downer.
Oh, no.
That's so mean.
Honestly, they should have just ended there.
Stop
I liked
it.
them in order that they came. Like the first one I liked best, then second, then third.
I liked first and third.
I
Second was weird.
I don't know. Like this third was so much
Yeah.
about like, I don't know. It just didn't do it for me.
See, third came out when I was going to college. So
You started leaving all your toys behind. You related too much. You left your Jessie out there in some box out by a little picnic table.
Sure.
Got it. There you go.
Sure.
Number 1 for Pixar from 2016, Finding Dory, $135.06 million.
Pretty good. The best part was, oh, my special gift. Ooh.
It was all right until it got to the car chase. And then I was like,
Well,
Actually, wait. I didn't even see. Nope, I didn't see Finding Dory because Finding Nemo, I was like,
No.
So I wasn't rushing and I didn't bother.
Be sure me for one of the way Sydney.
Yeah.
all
It's
right.
it's actually, the address is P. Sherman because a lot of the animators were from the Philippines, and it's sort of a play on fishermen because they would say P. Sherman. So it's
Oh
P.
my
Sherman
God,
42 all over way Sydney. Little tidbit for y'all
Really
out there.
cool.
Look at you. Somebody's in the know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to do our box office bet. But before we do that, we got to do our top 5 for next week. So, again, we have Coco coming in at 3,800 screens and Roman J. Israel Esquire on 1,500.
Romeo and Julian
Yes.
Esquire.
Where do we see Coco taking number 1?
Yes.
We don't think Justice League is going to
Family film.
hold, like it's going to have like a 0% drop?
No, I think
two?
it could. Oh, well, it's gonna drop, and if it drops like 50,
Do you think more 60? Do you think it'll have a huge drop off or just like a half drop off?
No.
There's enough people hating on it, though. Maybe.
I don't think so, because Batman vs Superman dropped so much that people are going to come out of this and be like, it's not as bad as Batman vs Superman, and they'll be like, oh, okay, then I'll go see it. Not in troves, but in a respectable amount. So I think it's going to be more like 50, which will put it around what 49.
Ken Jack in the chat goes Coco, Justice League, Wonder, Thor, and then the Roman Esquire.
I don't know. I think Roman's not going to do that well.
Yeah.
The buzz about it hasn't been that great.
It's only 1,600 screens.
Yeah. So I mean,
1,500.
Yeah, 15.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, a murder.
Yeah.
A murder right now is on a little over 3,300. I mean, it'll drop, but still.
And
it's
at
up to like 7,
so.
7.5 maybe.
House Hollywood says Roman won't make top 5.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I can't disagree with except for Roman. I think it'll be. I think Daddy's Home 2 will probably last.
Ew.
It's our really only real comedy.
Apparently, you're making a face every time someone mentions Justice League.
Yeah.
It's just coming from my soul. I really am trying to not
it's
to
her
do
Justice
that.
face.
Adelia goes to, so slightly different but similar. Coco, Justice League, Wonder, Thor, then Murder. So Daddy's Home dropping off and Murder bumping up. Okay.
Hey, what do you guys think?
I think everything's just going to shift one down with Coco at top.
Okay.
What she said.
Neil?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
I do not disagree with that.
I think it's just going to be a pop down.
Yeah.
That's what they call it in the biz.
Okay.
Or so it has been explained to me.
Oh, that's cool.
But ladies and gentlemen, we've got to do something before we wrap up called the box office bet.
Yeah.
Which means that we're going to bet on a film that you've checked in the box office, and I saw a lot of Fast and Furious bets for Coco.
I saw a lot of Cocos, yeah.
So we'll be doing Coco from Pixar films.
Someone's saying House says Daddy's Home will stay at 5 because the holiday's coming up. Could have some pull.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Daddy's Home. I think that'll do better. I think a comedy is going to do better than Murder on the Orient Express over a holiday weekend. I think.
Coco.
I think more families would go, hey, let's go see this comedy as opposed to like, let's go see this murder mystery.
Yeah,
no.
it so
Unless you're that kind of unless you're that kind of family.
Yeah, but that kind of family, there aren't a lot of them.
All right, so of course we will. In terms of what we're going to predict for our put for our predictions, I just read down the list of the top 5 openings for Pixar films. So we've gone all the way from 135 all the way down to 70. That's kind of been the range for their last top 5 films. So,
I think like 230.
Well, let's see.
500.
Although all these top 5, they went from 4,300 screens all the way down to 3933 was the lowest.
Nasaid, if I pronounce it right, sorry, says 75 for Coco.
Neil, but close to Frank. Okay.
Yeah, we come up with them beforehand, Star.
Yeah.
So I can't. I can't just
65.
decide.
That's right.
Where is
58,
my
56,
Yeah,
65, 80, 85.
It's opening up on 100 less screens than even its lowest, but it does have a lot of good word of mouth, though.
Oh, yeah, people are excited.
It
New
does.
animated movie and family.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
All right.
80. So, okay, yeah, we got CA 1987 says 80. Courtney says 85. Howell says 80. Star Drew says 45. Von Beck says it's tracking. Saw it tracking for 60. I feel that's a little low. Tanya says 65. Paul says 65. Veronica says 55.
All right.
Thunder God says 70. All right.
Well, let's see. We've read enough about what the fans think. The most important thing is what we think, because one of us is going to have to go see this movie. Although I feel like everybody,
we might just see
who's
it
all seeing it
anyway.
this weekend? I know I am.
That's
I
my
would love
goal.
to, yeah. That'd be great.
Well, why don't you just do it then, Carrie? Just.
Wait, what's this
do
weekend?
it.
I think there might be time in there.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, the way the box office bet works is that we're going to bet on what we think the opening gross of this film will be. The one that's closest gets to be the prognosticator or prognosticators. The crown is weary on my head, so I'm ready to pass this. I mean, it's just too much responsibility.
Yeah, you're ready when it's a safe week.
That's true. When it's a boo
Yeah.
too,
Oh, gosh.
I will hold on to that for dear life. No, I must keep it. And of course, the loser will have to go see this film and tell us all about it. But of course, those are those nice weeks where it's a movie that we're betting on, where nobody's going to mind if they lose. So those are rare, sometimes rare weeks. Whew. All right. Boo. Everybody have their
already did
official
mine.
votes?
I do.
Yep.
I had a lower number and then I went higher. And
is Frank obligated to go first because he's won so many times?
That's
yes.
true. I was going to say the number that popped in my head first.
Yeah.
I will go 86.
Okay.
86. 86. That number right there.
Whoa! Thank you.
95. I first said 75, and I'm like, nope, I'm gonna go higher.
All right.
Well, 79.
Okay.
It's also 79.
Whoa! But Amy, would you see how Neil did it though with confidence? You
Well, I
were so
know.
apologetic about the way you put it out there.
I wanted to make 100 or more, but I want to win.
So you bet with your head and not your heart, is what you said.
Well, I started betting with my heart, and then I was like, well, let's try something else.
I'm gonna bet with my head now. All
I'm
right.
gonna win.
Okay.
Because
Got
I'm
it.
gonna see it either way. So it's okay.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
So the bets are 79, 86,
95.
and 95.
99. Look at that. Woo-wee. Some hot numbers going into this Thanksgiving holiday weekend.
Wow, so hot.
Beat off.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this episode of the Box Office Breakdown. Now, of course, this coming weekend is going to be Thanksgiving holiday weekend, but I think most of us are going to be here. So you know what? We're going to do a show.
Yeah.
We're going to break down.
Be here for all of you out there.
That's right. That's our Thanksgiving
us here.
Thanksgiving holiday treat
That's
to
our
you.
gift. That's our gift.
That's right.
For you.
A show.
Enjoy.
A show.
Food. Bring leftovers, guys. We'll be like. No?
We'll just
Okay.
that's good. We'll eat right here on the show.
That's the whole show. It's just being like, so you guys see Coco?
So good. Have a giant like piece of turkey in your mouth. Yum.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, of course, thanks so much for watching the show. You can like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and feel free to put a bunch of thumbs up there while you're doing that. And of course, if you're watching this even after it's streamed live, you can comment down below. Carrie, what's a question you'd like them to answer on the chat or on the comment boards?
I'm like, I guess we're going in. It's too soon for Christmas because Thanksgiving hasn't happened yet. But favorite Christmas movie? We'll ask you again later too. But no, as we get
about
closer.
holiday?
Holiday movie,
Holiday.
yeah.
Okay, new favorite, just general.
Yeah.
Okay, favorite holiday movie, irregardless of what time of year.
Yeah, those Arbor Day movies, man. You start giving them some love because they don't get a lot of love.
Technically, Groundhog's Day. Come on, that's a holiday movie.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to continue the conversation with us even after the show is over, even though we love seeing you in the chat, you're like, you know, that's not enough. I need to talk to these folks even after the show's over. Neil, of course, I think out of all of us, they want to talk to you the most. Where can they find you?
It might be from my controversial viewpoint of the Justice League and how much I didn't not like it. You guys can find your boy Neil Plumley, that's me, at places where you can find people. At the Neil Plumley, that's TheNeilPlumley. Amy, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on all social media at Amy Cassandra TV. Thank you so much for watching and listening to our crazy conversations about Justice League. See, no weird face. I didn't make a weird face.
Yes, thank you so much for watching and joining in the chat. And if you joined it later, totally cool. Leave your comments down below about the episode. You can find me online at Kari Lane. That's Karidlane. And I had a photo shoot this morning with fellow dancers for my dance show. So check it out because there's going to be cool photos on there and video. I did a Twitter Periscope, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Jones, you've said it better than myself. You're a good man, Neil. Look at that. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, at HappyGoJackie. Again, thanks so much for joining us on the show. You make it so much fun to do by hopping in the chat with us. We're very thankful for you. We'll be more thankful next Sunday night as we do another episode of Box Office Breakdown right here on Popcorn Talk. Go see some movies!
See ya!
Bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.